At home, when I was packing my belongings, my smartphone suddenly rang. The screen displayed the word, Mom. I picked up the phone and answered the call. Hello? Hey, where are you right now? I'm at home. Our son has been urgently transported to the hospital. Come to the hospital right away. In a tense moment, my mother-in-law informs me of my husband's emergency, but I could not suppress a burst of laughter. Mom, I'm not going to the hospital, okay? What are you saying? If something happens... I don't care about if something happens, because my feelings have been decided for a long time. My name is Ashley Miller, and I'm 29 years old. I'm a very ordinary company employee working for a major beverage manufacturer. My husband, Travis, and I have been married for over 2 years. People around me often say things like, seems to have no worries, and each time I laugh it off. But is there really anyone in this world without worries? Even someone as carefree looking as me is currently burdened by a significant concern. The catalyst was 3 months ago, and it happened so suddenly. My smartphone received a message from my husband. We'll be late due to overtime. Since preparing dinner for just myself after returning home seemed troublesome, I decided to dine out somewhere. I headed to a restaurant that had caught my interest 3 stops before the nearest station. Despite being tired from work, it being the weekend made my steps light. This restaurant had received high ratings, and I had wanted to try it for a while. If the food is good, I thought I'd bring Travis next time. Replying on the smartphone map, I arrived at the restaurant. The storefront was illuminated, and though small in size, it exuded a certain presence. Just as I put my hand on the entrance door, a cruel sight came into my eyes. What? Why? In the back seat, there was my husband. Across from him sat an unfamiliar woman with long hair. Without hesitation, I let go of the doorknob and desperately tried to control my trembling body. What am I looking at now? I couldn't believe my eyes. What does that mean? Travis said he has overtime today. Who's the woman with him? What's their relationship? Questions arose one after another, gradually leading to panic. One thing is certain. My husband is having dinner with a woman at a restaurant under the guise of working late. Unable to stand still, I turned on my heel with determination. I just want to get away from that place, so I kept running in a frenzy. When I came to my senses, I found myself in an illuminated park. I sat on a bench to sort the situation. Perhaps my husband is just having a meal with a colleague from work. There might be nothing suspicious. I tell myself this over and over again and decide to go home for the time being. I decided to wait for my husband to get home and talk to him. I'm home. The front door opened, and my husband's lively voice could be heard. Checking the time, it was already past 11 p.m. I couldn't shake off the discomfort, thinking about him being alone with another woman until this late hour. For now, I pretended not to know anything and brought up the conversation. Hey, Travis. So, today, did you eat somewhere? Somewhere, I bought dinner at a convenience store and had it at the office. While working? Of course. I didn't have the luxury to sit down in a restaurant. I was too busy. You were that busy? So going out to eat with a colleague from work? Oh, no. I was invited for a drink by a colleague who stayed late, but I said, my wife is waiting, and came straight home. Travis talks as if he were proudly describing himself as a good husband. I could only put on a fake smile because I knew it was all a lie. Maybe I should have confronted him more firmly at that moment. But without clear evidence, claiming cheating would put me at a disadvantage. If he's really cheating, I'll have to gather solid proof before discussing it with him. It's not the right time for that, I convinced myself. From that day on, I began to investigate my husband's movements. I started noticing several suspicious behaviors that I hadn't paid attention to before. He always carries his smartphone with him, never leaving it behind. Late at night, he quietly leaves the bedroom and doesn't return for about an hour. And the frequency of overtime has noticeably increased compared to before. Overtime work, which used to be at most a few times a week, occurs now almost daily. Business trips, which used to occur once every few months at most, have increased every month in the past 6 months. With the unmistakable oddities in my husband's behavior, I became convinced. He is indeed cheating. And the other woman is the one with the long hair I saw that time. From then on, things progressed quickly. Since my working hours end an hour earlier than my husband's, on days when I received a notice about overtime, I started waiting for him at a cafe where I could see his office. When he came out, I followed him and, as expected, found him meeting his affair partner in an alley. It was a woman I saw at that restaurant. The two of them boldly embraced, exchanging kisses a few times. I recorded that moment on my smartphone, enduring the nausea. Afterward, they hailed a taxi and disappeared somewhere. Since further tailing them was difficult, I abandoned the pursuit there. Back home, I checked the video, but due to the darkness, it wasn't very clear. I don't know if this is enough evidence. So I decided to take the bold step of hiring a private investigator. While searching for a reputable detective agency on my computer, my smartphone rang. When I realize it's my mother-in-law calling, my brow furrows involuntarily. Letting out a deep sigh, I switched my mindset and answered the phone. Hello?
Ashley, it's me. What were you doing just now?
Huh? Right now? Well, I was doing some research on the computer.
You answered the phone earlier than usual, so I figured it must be something like that. If you were cooking or doing laundry, you'd have taken longer to answer, right? Even if you're doing housework or not, it should be the same as long as you have your smartphone with you.
I couldn't quite understand my mother-in-law's reasoning, but without delving into it, I continued the conversation. So Mom, what's the matter today?
It's not what's the matter. You know what it is. When are you going to quit your job?
If it's about that, as I always say, I don't have plans to quit my job anytime soon.
Huh? Are you still saying that? You're part of the Miller family, you know? Instead of working, hurry up and focus on the household.
But considering the future, I think it's better for me to work and save money.
Travis is earning, so there shouldn't be any problem, right? You always make excuses. You're not cute as a daughter-in-law, you know?
In my usual habit, I involuntarily mutter an apology. I'm fed up with myself like that. Is it a story from some bygone era that women quit their jobs and enter the home just because they got married? To put it plainly, I actually earn more than my husband. My mother-in-law is still unaware of this fact, and she mistakenly believes I'm just a daughter-in-law who continues to work without contributing significantly. It's fine that her son is dear to her, but it's going too far. The calls from my mother-in-law are increasing day by day. What started as once a month is now every 2 days. Every time, I'm told to quit my job and focus on the family, and it's wearing me out. Even consulting with my husband hasn't led to a solution. I've asked him many times to talk to his mother, but he hasn't done anything. Instead, my husband laughed and said, "But isn't what Mom says true?" Travis, do you also think I should quit my job? It's not that, but it's normal, right? A woman is better off being at home, isn't she? But if I do that, our life will... Huh? Are you implying my earnings are not enough? No, it's not like that. So that's what you mean, right? Whether you're looking down on me or not, making such comments is a turnoff.
I'm sorry. Since then, I feel like I might step on his landmine again, so I can't bring up this kind of conversation. Perhaps, no matter how carefully I choose my words, he will interpret them sarcastically. If he's cheating, he likely thinks I won't find out at all. Maybe he doesn't even expect me to do anything if I find out. His actions had become so bold. Perhaps it is my own fault for not having noticed the affair before. But the fact remains that cheating is far worse. Afterward, I found a reputable private investigator. So I decided to request an investigation of my husband's affair to find out who the other party was and to get proof of the affair. A few days later, when I went to inquire about the results, the outcome confirmed my suspicions. The person involved in the affair was a woman named Rachel Silva, a colleague at the same company as my husband. I was thinking that I would like to have more evidence when my husband made the following comment.
Next weekend, I have a business trip.
Business trip? Where to?
Chicago. I'll buy souvenirs, so look forward to it.
Got it. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if he's really going on a business trip or if he's going out with his affair partner. Anyway, I decided to inform the investigator at the private detective agency about this fact and request an investigation. While he's away on the business trip, I decided to visit my parents' house. A week later, my phone suddenly rang in the morning. The screen displayed, "Message from Mom." While thinking that this might be the last time I talked to her, I tapped the call button. Hello? Hey, where are you right now? My mother-in-law inquires about my whereabouts with a sense of urgency. I knew that this was not a normal situation, but I responded calmly. Now? I'm at home. Home? Then pack your bags right away. Huh? What do you mean? Travis has been rushed to the hospital. Come to the hospital immediately. Rushed to the hospital? Why do you, Mom, know about it? We got a call. He told the ambulance crew to call me, not his wife, you. My mother-in-law explains this to me with a somewhat triumphant tone. Perhaps my husband asked his mother to contact me, fearing that his affair would be exposed. Unaware of this, my mother-in-law yelled at me. Are you listening? Travis had an accident. He's conscious, but he can't move his body. No, really? Oh, really? Is that all you can say? Anyway, come to the hospital right away. Here's the location. The hospital's address and phone number are provided through the phone. However, such irrelevant details don't register in my ears. My mind is filled with a sense of serves you right, so those details don't matter. Simultaneously, I became convinced that the timing for revenge is now and no other time. Are you even listening? My mother-in-law raises her voice, and I quietly respond. Mom, I won't go to the hospital. What are you saying? If something happens... If something happens? Even if something were to happen, it's his own fault, isn't it? I'm going back to my parents' house. Huh? Are you serious? Your husband has been rushed to the emergency room. Soon he won't be my husband anymore. Goodbye. Saying this, I ended the call. My mother-in-law called several times afterward, but I didn't answer. A few days later, when I visited the detective agency, I heard a surprising fact from the investigator. What? Paralyzed on one side?
Yes, it seems your husband, who was in the passenger seat during the accident, was severely injured.
What about that woman, Rachel?
She only suffered minor bruises. She has already been discharged.
I see. It turns out that the one driving was not my husband, but his affair partner. I had heard that in the case of a car accident, the passenger seat could suffer more significant damage, but I never expected it to be this severe. However, even after hearing about such a situation, I didn't feel any pity. Instead, I couldn't help but see it as a punishment for betraying me. After receiving evidence of the affair trip from the private investigator, I immediately visited a law firm. Since the evidence was solid,
I was able to quickly initiate divorce proceedings and claim alimony. That night, as I was about to go to sleep at my parents' house, my phone rang. My husband's name appeared on the screen. With the intention of settling things with this call, I answered. Hello?
Ashley, why aren't you coming to the hospital?
Why? It wasn't you who told the paramedics to call my mother-in-law.
But you're still my wife, right? Normal wives would come, at least for a visit.
Why wouldn't I come for a visit? Don't you understand that better than anyone else?
Huh?
Did you think you weren't caught? Your affair? That affair trip with Rachel ended in a terrible accident. My condolences.
Why bring up Rachel?
Seemingly, my husband didn't think I was aware. He stammered and appeared unsettled. In the background, my mother-in-law's voice could be heard asking,
What's going on?
It seemed she didn't comprehend the situation. Making sure she heard, I responded loudly. I knew you were cheating. I was just waiting for the right moment. Even this time, I went back to my parents' house when you went out.
Wait a minute. I did indeed have a relationship with another woman, but we've already broken up.
Broken up?
As soon as I became partially paralyzed, she said, I can't handle caregiving.
Ha! Serves you right, doesn't it? Being dumped so easily is quite amusing, isn't it?
What's amusing about it? I'm so hurt. Just come and visit already.
Even in this situation, my husband seemed devoid of any guilt. It felt foolish to continue the conversation, so I decisively spoke. So hurt? Come and visit? Don't make me laugh. Do you have any idea how much I've suffered because of your affair? You, who betrayed your wife without a second thought, have no right to say you're hurt.
It's not that.
See, you can't even respond, can you? You did the lowest possible thing. No matter how much you apologize or grovel, I won't forgive you. You and your mother there. You've trampled on people's feelings, caused so much suffering. I don't care what happens to you two. Recognize your sins and spend the rest of your life in discomfort. Carry that paralyzed body of yours.
Wait, Ashley. Hey, Ash.
I ended the call abruptly, as if cutting off his attempts to cry and beg. To avoid further involvement, I set the call to reject all future calls. Later on, we divorced. He and his cheating partner were charged a reasonable fee for the affair. The lump sum alimony payment apparently left Travis's savings in the negative. With his inability to work as before, his income essentially became zero. He was left paralyzed and in debt. He is now living with his mother at his parents' house, but his body is not doing what it wants, and he seems to be getting more and more stressed every day. Because of that, he and his mother are arguing loudly, their arguments reaching the whole neighborhood. But honestly, I don't feel sorry for them. It seems like the right consequence. At best, I hope he suffers and atones for his sins. I, on the other hand, live peacefully at home with my parents. I talked to my job about it and asked to move closer to home. After dealing with a lot, I want to be a bit kinder to myself. If I get the chance to meet someone nice, I'll take my time and build a good relationship.
Let's get a divorce. I have no use for your body anymore.
My husband abruptly leaves me because I can't have children. He puts all the responsibility on me without paying attention to his own problems. He seems to be having a lot of fun with that other woman in our home. Why did I marry this man? All right, I will divorce you. I left for Spain to forget the past. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to make him pay. With that kind of determination. My name is Pamela, 31 years old. I'm a newlywed housewife who has been married for a year. But my hobby is selling handmade accessories. Although I don't make a lot of money from my online store, it's not bad to be able to do something that I enjoy. My husband is 38 years old, 7 years older than me. We met at a party 3 years ago, and luckily, we made it to the finish line. My husband is handsome, but unpretentious, has a nice smile, and everyone likes him. Such a man like him chose me. I couldn't control my excitement, and I was crazy about him. I was looking forward to marrying him and creating the family of my dreams. When we first got married, I was full of dreams and hopes. But even though it had only been a year, a dark cloud of unhappiness loomed over our marriage. We had wanted to have a child as soon as possible since we started dating. And since we got married, I had been checking my basal body temperature, and my husband had been taking a potent drug to try to have a baby. But the reality was not so easy. Oh, it looks like this month is not going to be a good month either. I was nervous every month at that time of the month to check the signs. For the first 3 months, he would say,
Well, let's not be discouraged, and let our luck take care of us. Someday, it will come to our neck of the woods.
But recently, he may have been affected by my nervousness and stopped asking me as he had used to when we first got married. I was ready to accept it any time. But now, I don't expect to get pregnant, and we don't spend time together at night. On the contrary,
It's your fault, right?
he started to throw insensitive words at me. It doesn't mean I'm the one at fault. That's what I thought. But I couldn't deny it completely because I hadn't actually checked it. I thought, I'd rather take action than worry about it. I decided to go for fertility treatment. I went to the hospital on the weekdays, and then on Sundays, I participated in a handmade goods sale, which I love. Doing what I loved was a great way to let off steam, as it freed me from the distractions of reality. Soon after starting fertility treatment, my doctor told me that my husband needed to have a checkup as well. And when I asked him to do so, his reply was unexpected.
What? I don't want to do it. You're on your own, aren't you?
Well, they need to check both of us to find out which one of us has the problem.
I'm telling you I'm fine, okay?
My husband won't accept the test. I couldn't understand how he could be so sure. After these exchanges, my husband's mood got worse and worse, and our life as a couple became more and more indifferent. I was getting more frustrated than annoyed, so I decided to go shopping to relieve myself. Oh, my credit card is gone. Where did I put it? I thought I kept it in a drawer since I don't use it often. I searched my room and found something shiny on the floor by my bed. Huh? What's this? I picked it up and found it was a woman's earring that was not mine. What? A present for me? That's impossible. Or was this a sign to show me that this room was the scene of an affair? My head was spinning with delusions, and I felt nauseous. My husband's recent behavior has been suspicious, so I can believe it. I wonder if the card might be. I can't stop worrying about it. I decided to check the credit card statements because there was no end to my concern. The statements would make it clear. That's what I thought. And the result only made me more suspicious of my husband. What the? This is a hotel room for $360. $1,000 at the brand store? What? I gulped at an uncountable high bill I had no idea about. That means he used my credit card to buy something for someone else. I can't believe it. I went back and checked, and found that the unaccounted for purchases had been made repeatedly over the past 6 months, with the most recent one amounting to about $7,000 spent at the travel agency. What luxury travel! Absolutely unforgivable. My anger doubled as I recalled my husband's behavior over the past few days, and my answer to divorce was becoming firm in my mind. That evening, when he came home, he spoke before I could open my mouth.
I'm going on a trip this weekend. I will be back in a week.
What? I couldn't believe my ears when he said what I was about to ask. But this is my chance to question him. Where are you going? Oh, I didn't think I would ask you a question. My husband is so obviously unhappy, but I can't lose. So where are you going? Isn't a week a long time?
Yeah, we're going abroad.
Overseas? That's an unexpected word.
So I will be back in a week. I will at least get you some souvenirs.
I don't care about souvenirs. Who are you going with?
A friend from my hometown. Someone you don't know.
Oh? I responded with a little bit of a leer, and he got mad.
What?
Are you really friends?
Yes, we are. You doubt me?
My husband frowned, as if offended. By the way, I can't find my card. You know where it is?
Your card? I don't know.
At the mention of the word card, his eyes widened. All right, I have to block the card.
Block it?
Yeah. What if someone uses it without my knowledge?
Wait. I might have borrowed it and forgot to give it back.
What? Did you?
I'm sorry.
The I'm sorry act is just too much to take.
Is it this one? I'm sorry I borrowed it without asking. I couldn't find my card either, so I borrowed it on a short notice. But I found mine just before I used yours, so I didn't use it.
It's true what they say about people who lie. If that's so, well, but don't think you can fool me with that act. At this point, I took a chance and brought out the statements. So let me ask you.
Ask me what?
This shows some charges for a hotel, a brand name wallet, and a travel bag. You didn't use it, did you?
What?
He's speechless. If you say no, I'm gonna have to call the credit card company right now and have them look into it. And I'm gonna have to block this card as well.
Wait a minute. Oh, I just remembered. I used it. Forgot.
You forgot?
Yeah. No. I was at the hotel having a drink with some guys from work, and we got caught in a downpour. We couldn't get out because of the rain, so I had to stay at the hotel.
Really? You're a real piece of work if you're this evasive.
What? No, it's true. Discharge for a purse. I was going to give it to you as a gift someday, but I lost it. I'm sorry.
You're not. It's funny, isn't it? Why are you buying my present with my own credit card?
Oh, no. I didn't have my card with me when I bought it. But I was going to pay it back later.
I'm losing my patience with his continuous lies. Are you having an affair?
What are you?
Then what are these earrings? Why are there earrings belong to a woman other than me in our bedroom?
Well,
my husband finally gave up after all this, sighed loudly, and looked really tired.
Oh yes, you. What a pain in the ass.
Why does a cheater have to be so bossy? That's what I thought. What with that attitude? You cheated on me.
So what? If you had tried harder to have a baby, then I wouldn't have cheated on you.
I don't know what to say to my husband. What do you mean tried harder? Why is it my fault that you cheated on me? Are you crazy?
Why can't you see that you weren't attractive enough? That's why I cheated on you. I'm just saying, if you don't want to be cheated on, you should try harder.
No. It doesn't make any sense. It's just not possible. My husband was such a selfish man. And finally,
Enough. Let's get a divorce. I have no use for you anymore.
divorce? No use for me? I don't know how to answer that question. I looked at him, my stomach churning. What? Do you know what you're saying?
I know what I'm saying. I said divorce. I don't want a woman who can't have children.
It's too much. It's so bad, I wonder if I'm even alive. At this moment, my feelings for my husband completely disappeared, and I accepted the divorce. Okay, let's get a divorce.
Thanks for making it easier for me. Get out while I'm on vacation.
You don't have to tell me. My husband's irrational words pierced my heart and couldn't stop crying that day. And so the weekend arrives. My husband left for the trip so easily that it felt like he had no feelings for me. And he left the divorce papers on the table with his information filled in. I have nothing but hatred for my husband. All I have to do is sign the papers, and it's all over. I filed the divorce papers at the city office and ended our really short marriage. A year later, I feel nostalgic even though it's only been a short time. I took a deep breath when I came back from Spain. The smells and crowds back home are different from those in other countries, so I feel at home. I have a lot of work to do, such as unpacking and cleaning once I get home. When I got home, I heard a familiar man's voice.
Hey, I finally found you.
I turned around and saw my ex-husband standing there. I hadn't seen him since he left me for a trip abroad. What do you want? I'm busy.
Don't say that. You're the one who messed things up.
Yes. After my divorce, I asked a detective to investigate his affair and asked my lawyer to file a claim for alimony with the evidence. It seems he received a letter. I have the right to claim. I didn't do anything wrong.
Shut up. You got me in trouble with my parents. The company found out and I lost my job. It's all your fault.
My ex-husband runs and raves without a care in the world. He's really upset. It's my fault? It's all your fault you left me. You told me you don't want a woman who can't have children. I will never forget. The anger from that day is still in my memory. But I don't let the past with my ex-husband haunt me anymore. I have a new life partner next to me.
Something wrong, Pamela?
Rodrigo. Rodrigo walked up next to me. He's my Spanish husband. I went to Spain on a student visa. I couldn't even speak Spanish, but Rodrigo was there to help me out. I told him English and the American culture because he loved the US, and he taught me Spanish because I'm not good at it. Rodrigo had a dream to live in the US someday, and we returned to the US together to make it come true. My ex-husband does not know where I live after the divorce, so he must have asked my parents where I live and came here.
Who is this guy?
He's my husband.
What?
My ex-husband's eyes widened.
You remarried?
His eyes are on the baby in Rodrigo's arms.
The child. What?
That's my child.
What? Why would you have a child?
Well, my ex-husband, who still believes I'm infertile, stood frozen with his mouth open.
Why weren't you able to have kids that time?
That's what you assumed, isn't it? I got a checkup at the hospital and everything was fine. But what about you?
What? What do you mean?
You refused the test. That means you were the cause. You haven't had a baby with your mistress yet, have you?
That's...
My ex has gone completely silent. You should get that checked out. Infertility affects men and women equally, Right, Rodrigo? Rodrigo, who was holding the baby and watching my ex-husband and I interact, pulled me into his arms and glared at Levi.
I hear you. Pamela is my wife now. If you hurt her, I won't forgive you.
Rodrigo is an obstetrician. He referred me to another doctor for a thorough fertility test, which turned out to be successful. This is evidenced by the baby Rodrigo is now carrying in his arms, and he will soon be working at Harrisburg State Hospital. Damn! My ex-husband still looked like he wanted to say something.
If I had known you were going to have a baby, I would have never divorced you. Well, it's not too late, right? Remarry me.
Huh? My ex-husband's words were so nonsensical that Rodrigo and I were shocked to hear them. I don't want to see you again, and I don't want to start over.
Why not? You married me because you fell in love with me, right? We can still start over, can't we?
Huh? Did my ex-husband's brain change while he was abroad? I can't understand him at all. How could I have married such a man even for a short time? I felt embarrassed. I have a new life now. I will never see you again. I looked at my ex with a strong gaze. Goodbye. Now get the hell away from me. Rodrigo yells at him.
Walk away, or I will call the police.
I turned around and left with Rodrigo. The next day, I went back to my parents' house. When I introduced my new family, my father and mother were very excited about their first grandchild, and Rodrigo was able to communicate with them in everyday conversation. My parents were very happy. My ex-husband came to visit me and didn't know the details of my whereabouts. My sister had unwittingly told him. She felt bad about it, but in a way, I'm glad I was able to say goodbye to him in person. According to an update from the detective, my ex-husband had been having relations with several women before he married me, and even after the marriage, he had been playing around with them as long as I was unable to have children. He quit his job, ran out of money, and is now running away from the women he had relationships with, who were demanding a large amount of money from him. I guess he was desperate to get back together with me because he was looking for money. He is a true scumbag. Another piece of good news came to our home. In fact, we are expecting our second child. My parents and my sister were delighted to hear this news. I don't know the gender yet, but I'm now in the happiest place in my life, as if the memory that I had been suffering from infertility was a lie. I can't help but look forward to the many more days of happiness that await us in the future. Rodrigo and I are smiling at our son, hugging each other, and savoring our moments of happiness.